It's Steve, your Facebook friend, maybe more. We're home from shopping for daughter, and we're home from the store. And now I'm sitting in the forest, which is my backyard, and just reminiscing of times in the past. When I was growing up in rural Macon County, Missouri, we had a monster maple tree. I mean, it was just monstrous. Uh, in the past, see, my dad died in '04, and the tree was pretty much dead then. I think my brother went ahead and took it down. He still lives on the farm where we grew up. But it was such a monster of a tree, and it literally, at its prime when I was a kid, maybe about 1970, something like that, it literally, the branches would spread out and it would cover, oh gosh, I bet every bit of 150 foot edge to edge. And there were other trees in the yard, in the backyard there. And we would sit outside because guess what? We didn't have air conditioning. We didn't have air conditioning in our cars. Now, back then, folks didn't have air conditioning. They really didn't. You had box fans, and you opened the window. And when it started to cool down outside, you put that box fan in the window and pull the hot air out of the house and bring cool air in the house. Maybe have a couple box fans in opposing parts of the house, and you cool your house down so you could sleep that night. Now, when it was really hot and muggy, you still didn't sleep very well. But anyway, yeah, we'd sit in the backyard and we'd listen to the relaxing sound of wind as they blew through the leaves in that big maple tree and the other trees that were there in the yard. And so now, when I sit out in the yard chair, back in the day, we had different kinds of yard chairs. They were that webbed nylon. If the straps would break, you could replace them. Keep those aluminum chairs going forever unless you gain too much weight and broke them. Now the chairs that they sell at Home Depot and Walmart and things today are a little bit heavier duty, like the one I'm sitting in. But regardless, I'm still able to enjoy the forest, the trees, the wind that's blowing through the leaves and creating a very, very relaxing atmosphere. One thing I don't have out here is a hammock. Lord knows I've got some places that I could put a hammock, but I sure miss those days on the farm where I grew up, sitting in the backyard. Typically, it was hard work during hay season, and then we'd take it easy for a couple of weeks. Except for my dad, when he was working, he'd take his 3 or 4 weeks. He'd worked at the place that he worked at. It was called, I guess it was called Toastmaster by the time he retired. But at the factory that he worked at, he took his 3 or 4 weeks all at once through hay season. So he could, it wasn't going to take 4 weeks to do all the hay, but you had to factor in the weather and equipment breakdowns and that kind of thing. And when the baler or whatever equipment he was using, when it broke down, he'd have to allow time to get the parts in or have the parts fabricated, because Dad in the 60s and 70s and 80s was still farming like they did in the 50s, with the older equipment, and that was fairly common back then. So anyway, he took all his vacation time, and if things went well and we got hay season, the hay all got put away. This is pre-monster bales that you moved with a tractor. You actually went out in the field and picked those up, which was one of my jobs long before I started working at age 14. Growing up, we all pitched in as a family on this family farm, and we all contributed to hay season. And if we got done ahead of the time that that we'd allotted, then we'd have a lot of relaxation time. We'd go to the swimming pool, or we would spend a lot of time sitting in the backyard. Good times. Now, of course, we have air conditioning. You shut the windows down and you have a barricade between yourself and the outside. You have TV. Everyone has a device they can be watching and what they want to watch, Don't have to go outside and turn the antenna with the pipe wrench to get your TV stations in when you were watching TV in the evenings. It's a totally different world, and I think we've become detached from what is real around us, and it's so easy, myself included. As obvious, I make these videos and post them on Facebook. It's a very addictive medium, and in my case, it's my social life. Most of the people that I know do not live down here in the Branson area, although I've made a few acquaintances and friends. But most of the people that I've known for many years don't live here. They live in all over the world, really. Family and friends all over the country and all over the world. So Facebook is my social life. That's how I justify my Facebook addiction, anyway. But we've become detached from what's real. And that's why I make my children shut off your phones when we're taking a ride in the car. Don't be, the thing up to your face. Look out the window. This time of year, we love to put the convertible top down. So, people that ride motorcycles, they'll tell you, no matter where you go, if you're driving by a house where there's a barbecue, you smell the barbecue. You go into a low area, you smell the humidity, the moisture, the vapor in the air. It just excites all your senses. Same way in the convertible. I don't think I'm a good motorcycle rider nowadays. My balance is not quite as good as it should be given my disability. But I rode a trike toward the end, but I prefer the automobile because I can take people with me, and we can all enjoy that together. But that's the thing about it. Using transportation like a convertible or a motorcycle or a trike or whatever, you really are more in touch with the environment that's around you, and it excites your senses. That's why people enjoy it so much. So, of course, you guys probably already knew that. Thanks for listening. Nothing important in this video at all. I'm just sharing a little bit of my environment, what I can enjoy here in my backyard. And it's before the mosquitoes come out, and in the shade it's very enjoyable, very comfortable. Out in the sun, probably it feels like 95, but here in the shade it feels like about with the cool summer breeze. Hey, that's the name of a song, Seals and Crofts, back in 1973, I think it was. Summer Breeze. Isley Brothers also did a version. There you go. Didn't ask for that information either, did you? Thank you for listening, and I hope wherever you are, you can find a tree to sit underneath and get in touch with the world around us, and get away from the TV and get out of the air conditioning. Enjoy our life. And that's my goal every day. Choose to be happy and enjoy our life. Appreciate the things that are real. What we used to say in the 70s. Keeping it real, man. Keeping it real, baby. All right. Bye-bye.